Hello my crafty friends! Today in the lab I'm going to be showing you a technique to make broken glass pieces look like beautiful sea glass with a simple faux finish. And best of all, you don't need any special equipment. So round up your empty bottles and broken glass and let's get started. So here are a few samples that I've made, and you may be able to tell already there are some actual tumbled glass pieces in here that I purchased. And they will be a little bit thicker and a little bit flatter in general if you're using bottle glass. You are going to have some curves to your pieces, but I think you can still achieve a very nice sea glass kind of finish. So these are my purchased pieces here, and I think you can tell that they're flatter and a little bit thicker. But as far as the finish goes, I think you can achieve a pretty nice finish with the technique I'm going to show you. So you may have seen other folks tinting the glass that they use, and you could certainly use this technique on clear glass and add a color to it, but I'm going to be using colored glass to start with. Alright, before we get started, I do want to mention a couple of things about safety because we are working with glass, so there are a few things you want to be careful about. Whenever you're breaking the glass, you do want to wear eye protection. You're probably going to want to wear gloves for part of the process. And you also may want to use a mask or a respirator because we are going to be creating a little bit of glass dust, and you definitely don't want to be breathing that in. So if you're starting with a full new bottle, the best way that I have found to break these is by just using a hammer. And I like to just slide my bottle into some sort of envelope. If you have old dog food bags or cat food bags, anything that's really heavy duty and doesn't break terribly easily or tear terribly easy, save your old mailing envelopes also. And you just need a hard surface and a little bit of patience. And I'm just going to tap this several times to break the bottle. You can also use bottle cutters if you have one and you're familiar with using them. But this is a pretty clean way to break the bottles without getting a bunch of dust and glass in a lot of places. Now, you may break through your protective barrier, whatever you've put together to contain your glass, and if you do, you can just stick another layer on it, but you do want to be careful not to break holes or tear holes in the material that you're hammering on. There we go. Now once I've made the initial break, I do kind of try to feel around for any other places I might want to hammer. But you can see that I haven't done too much damage to the envelope here. And I do want to kind of shift things around carefully, not to stir up too much of the dust that may have accumulated or already been created. And I'm just going to peek in there. I think we've got some pretty good pieces now. So I've got an old pan here, and what I want to do is just carefully pour my pieces into this pan. And again, I'm going to do it kind of slowly and carefully so I don't stir up too much of the glass dust. So I can go ahead and start sorting my pieces, and some of them I may want to cut a little bit smaller. Some of them might just be ready for the next step. And some of the pieces you might decide you don't want to necessarily use for this project, so you can just set them in or put them in a different container and set them aside. So I have coffee cans that I keep all of my broken glass in, and I'll probably just put some of these pieces into that without saving them for another project. So if you have a really sort of strange piece that you don't want to work with, or you're already working with larger pieces of broken glass, you can take your glass cutters and carefully cut your pieces a little bit smaller, trim off some of the pointed edges if you want to. And so you can cut those pieces down pretty easily. So I've sorted out the pieces that I want to use to make the sea glass, and the rest of this I'm just going to put back into my glass container, as I mentioned. And I do like to just use a little paintbrush to clean out my container and make sure that I'm getting all of the tiny little pieces of glass into my storage container. So I've got my pieces selected in several different colors, and what I want to do next is put them in a sort of homemade tumbler here. And for that, I just have a tin can with the lid removed with a safe cut can opener, so you can kind of place it back on top. And I'm also going to be using a few little stones in my tumbler. So I'm going to place all of my glass pieces inside here with the rocks. And then I'm going just to use some packing tape to really secure this lid on, but I want to leave a little bit of an end so I can pull the tape back off. And then I'm going to shake the can for 5 minutes and check my pieces. You don't want to use a glass jar for this, and if you don't know why, I can tell you I tried it and it works for tumbling the glass, but it also, I've broken 2 glass jars that way, so I think this will be a better method. So I'm just going to kind of shake it in a circular motion for 5 minutes. So this is the step that creates the most glass dust, so you may want to wear your mask at this point. And when you're sealing the can, you want to make sure that you have it sealed all the way around so that the dust isn't escaping when you're shaking the can. And you also want to let it just sit for a minute and rest so that the dust has a little bit of time to settle. And then I'm going to try to remove this tape without shaking up the can too much. And I'm just going to carefully open the lid and add some water to cover the glass. I'm just going to swirl it around a little bit to get the dust off the edges of the can as much as I can. And then I'm going to pour the whole mixture into this bowl here. So you can probably see some of the sediment in this container here, and when we get to the bottom you'll see a lot more, but I'm just going to gently remove my glass pieces and let them dry on a piece of paper towel. And hopefully you can see that some of the edges are a little bit more jagged and the pointed ends are knocked down a little bit more than they were when we just cut the glass. And if you want to, you can tumble things longer. About 5 minutes does a fairly good job just to knock those corners down. So once you've got all your glass pieces and your rocks out ready to dry, you can see there's a lot of little glass sediment in there. And I'm just going to take this and dump it in a safe area in my yard. I have some gravel and I'll just dump it out there. So I'm ready to make the coating for the glass. And to start with, I'm going to be using a little bit of plaster of Paris and some water. So I want a 1-to-1 mixture of water and plaster of Paris, and you don't need very much. So I'm going to take half a teaspoon here, and I'm going to put that in my container. And then I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of water, and I want to mix that up really well. And then to this mixture, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of matte Mod Podge. And again, you want to mix it up really well. So I'm ready to start applying my mixture to my glass. And the key thing about this step is that you want to keep your hands as clean as possible, and you want to make sure that you're setting your glass in a clean spot so that it's not sitting in a pool of the finish, the glue finish. So I'm just going to take my first piece and I'm going to apply a little bit of the glue, and I want to kind of get all in the, I want to get some glue applied to the edges as well, which is a little tricky when you're holding it with your fingers. And then I'm just going to brush on a little bit of glue. And I have a little makeup sponge here that I'm going to take, and I'm just going to blot off that glue and all the brush strokes. And then I'm going to set this in a clean spot on some non-stick paper and let that dry. Now you may get to a point where your sponge is too saturated, and that's why I have an extra bowl of water here to clean up my sponge when I need to. And you're also going to want to kind of rinse your fingers off here and there so that they're not too sticky. And once you start working with the other side, you're going to apply this finish to both sides. And you want to be careful not to pull the finish off of the first side. So you have to be careful not to get wet glue in the dry glue, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to continue applying my finish to the first side of all my glass pieces, and then I'll allow that to dry, and I'll flip them over and apply the finish to the other side as well. So my glue is mostly dry here, and I'm going to go ahead, hopefully you can see the little frosted effect that's starting to appear here. So I'm going to go ahead and use the exact same process to put a layer of glue and plaster of Paris on the other side of my glass pieces. So here's what I was talking about, how it sits in a little pool of glue, and you don't really want that, so I'm going to carefully try to peel those off of there. And then I can go ahead and apply my finish. This next step is optional, but I like to go ahead and add another coat of just the matte Mod Podge to both sides of my glass pieces. But it's entirely up to you. So I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but hopefully you can see the differences here. So these are the glass pieces, just raw glass that I haven't put any finish on. These glass pieces have just the coat of Mod Podge and plaster of Paris on both sides, and this center row here has the additional coat of Mod Podge. So it's a very subtle difference. I would say without the extra Mod Podge you have a little dustier finish, which might be truer to the actual sea glass finish. So you can certainly determine whether you want to go ahead and add an additional layer of Mod Podge or not. I like to do it because it just rounds off the points and the edges of the glass a little bit more and makes it just a little bit safer to handle, but it's entirely up to you. And you may also want to add a sealer. I would recommend it just because the Mod Podge can stay a little bit tacky even once it's dry. So if you had these in a bowl kind of all laying on top of each other, they could stick together if you don't have a sealer on them. You're going to want to be sure to have a matte finish, but there are tons of different sealers out there, and all of them come in gloss, satin, and matte. So the other thing you might want to think about before you seal your project is what your end use is for the items, and you may want to go ahead and finish your project before you add the sealer. You could also use a brush sealer if you wanted to. I just think the spray sealers are a lot faster, and especially if you have a project that's already assembled, like a sun catcher or something, it might be easier just to spray and seal the project once you have it assembled. So that's it for today's project. I hope that this has inspired you to look at your everyday items a little differently, and that you might find some hidden craft potential buried in your recycling bin. If you enjoyed this project, I'd love it if you'd give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button to join my YouTube community. If you'd like to keep up with what I'm creating, there's a link in the description where you can sign up to receive updates from the Upcycled Design Lab. And if you're interested in exploring more things you can do with recycled glass, I have several videos on my channel showing how I use a microwave kiln for glass fusing and creating new projects from small pieces of glass. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll take another trip into the recycling bin to make something new and creative.